And welcome into Tricum Tigers. I'm Jay Coulter, joined by the coach, Ron Nelson. We haven't talked in a couple of weeks, and boy, what a couple of weeks, what a difference that makes.
Well, it definitely does. I tell you what, Jay, the ball game itself, first of all, my hat's off to Alabama. They played tremendously. They have got they have got the best four receivers than anybody in the country. And
I know they got one.
And and he was supposed to be the fourth one.
Yeah.
He's, to me, the Waddle kid might be the best one. I mean, we couldn't stop him, but I mean, what an electric crowd. I'm gonna call this game the 12th man.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna say the 12th man on the field, not right yet, but I thought the Auburn crowd was like a 12th man. I think we caused maybe 4 to 5 offside penalties, procedure penalties. When they got down to the goal line with less than 5 minutes to go, they took the drive down. The defense kind of stood their backs. The crowd was going crazy. Just an electric atmosphere. And it was a great team win, which Auburn needed because they had played so well all year long. And they needed something to play in a big game to be justified. I mean, Jay was like a heavyweight fight. They would throw a blow, we'd come back and throw a blow. And it gives you, anytime you're thinking somebody could get up 14 points, you might ease it, but nobody never would.
If I told you on that Friday, the day before, Alabama was going to score 45 points, what would you thought the outcome would have been?
We would have got beat 45-20.
Yeah.
I told you on the show before that, I says, we can't get in a scoring match with them, and because they're too explosive. And but lo and behold, I thought we played probably offensively. We played above what we've we've played all year long, but we didn't make any mistakes. We didn't have any interceptions. We had the one turnover that Booby calls it was, but defensively they got their yardage, and we got to give credit to them. They've got a very good offense, and but we didn't get a lot of sacks. But in the meantime, we got a couple of sacks, but we got a lot of hurries. The 2 interceptions that we caused was because of hurries. And so it's like the old saying is, sometimes sacks is not everything, just pressure.
Yeah.
The hurry of the quarterback.
Yeah. Auburn 354 total yards. Alabama had over 500. 38 points scored in the last 6 minutes of the second quarter by both teams. You can't explain it. I mean, it's a cliche to say that, oh, this was one for the record books, but man,
never seen anything like it. Not within a 6 minute span. There was 3 touchdowns scored in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Like I said, it's just a great team win. Auburn didn't have a bowl chance to play far, right. And Alabama did. So that was their motivation. Our motivation was just to prove to the country that, hey, we've got a top 10 team. Okay, we've lost 3 games to 3 very good opponents. That's all in the top 10. Matter of fact, all in the top 6, and so it was a good way to basically end the regular season, and then hopefully we'll go on to the bowl game, the Outback Bowl, and honor these seniors because they mean so much.
Yeah. Somebody I want to mention that has really had a tough year, Anders Carlson. Boy, clutch. I mean, just a year to forget. He comes in, hits 4 field goals, really hits 5. I mean, Malzahn goes out on a limb and takes 3 off the scoreboard. So he was clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting there and I was talking to my son, and we were watching the game. I says, the old rule of thumb is you never take points off the board. But it gave us a first down with a chance to get 7, and for unbelievable night. The clutch kick, and they weren't easy field goals either.
No.
And it's not like the 30-yard one that donked off the goalpost. The one he hit before halftime, was it 52?
52.
There was a lot of controversy.
And that's running up to the line of scrimmage. And
well, there was a lot of controversy about the play. And if the referees would have called the play dead with 1 second and then reset the clock, we wouldn't have had enough time. But they had to review it. Alabama didn't have their team to run off the field. So by the time they got back on the field and then Coach Saban was talking to the refs, we were lined up. And I can see Coach Malzahn on the sideline doing this right here, means snap the ball. And that's the universal sign, snap the ball on the whistle. So as soon as we lined up and we heard the whistle, we snapped it. We got it off.
Clutch, just absolutely. And this is a surprising stat. Auburn, 181 yards rushing, outrushed Alabama by a yard.
About a yard. And they, and you know, you say, well, 181 yards, but that was big though.
Yeah.
Because of the situation, we didn't have to put it all on Patrick. I mean, Bo, excuse me.
I did it 3 times last show. I went back and watched it.
But Bo, I mean, my hat's off to that, off to him. Coming into the season he had to as a freshman, the way he's handled himself and carried himself, there was 2 clutch throws on the one drive. The one-handed catch by Seth Williams, unbelievable. He placed it right where he had. Right before that, when everybody thought he was throwing the ball out of bounds and saw Will Hastings come across the field.
Clutch catch, one that's forgotten,
catch.
yeah.
And then the throw in the end zone to Sal Cannella, couldn't throw it any better. Yeah. A lot of people say, well, Alabama defensive back didn't fight through it. Man, the guy was taller.
How good was it to see Bo named SEC Freshman of the Year? I thought that was appropriate.
Very appropriate and well justified for him. And hopefully he can stay healthy, and we're going to see bigger and better things out of him as his career goes along.
On the flip side, how did Derek Brown not win the Outland Trophy?
Unbelievable. The guy that won it.
Some guy out in Oregon I've never heard of.
Well, the offensive line of Oregon is very good.
Yeah.
We held Oregon to less than 50 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of matchups. I think he probably got robbed of that. I tell you what, I wouldn't trade him from anybody in the country, and not only because of the type of season he's had, but the type of leadership that he has shown. I was fortunate enough to talk to Derek after the ball game, and we was back parked over there by the athletic facility, and he came up on a golf cart, him and his little boy, and just to talk to him was a pleasure. And he's like a big teddy bear, and but he don't play like that on the field though. But you know, he says he's coming back to play in the ball game.
That's saying a lot, because a lot of these guys are choosing not to, and quite honestly, I don't know that I can blame him.
Well, I wouldn't blame Derek, because the Auburn folks could not get mad at him if he didn't do that, because he came back his senior season. He could have got drafted last year, but he made the right decision, because now he's gone from maybe a late second, third round pick. He's going to be probably a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Cool. So, you know, hats off to him. But once your leader steps up and announces he's going to play, most of the dominoes will fall into effect. Now, we don't know, because they still got a couple more days that, you know, some more might decide. And but you know, personally, I want them to play, but I couldn't argue if they did.
Yeah. What are the effects on a win like this has on Auburn's program? I mean, they've had just gut-wrenching losses to LSU, Florida. They had a chance against Georgia in the fourth quarter. Signing day, as we tape this, signing day is tomorrow, Wednesday.
Yes.
What kind of impact does this have on those kind of things?
It has a lot. Number one, it's made the fan base. Okay, you're not so much hearing about all the talk about Gus now, and people like I said, if we just get on the same page, we have an outstanding recruiting year. Hopefully, we're gonna have a couple. From what I hear, we're gonna have a couple of surprises Wednesday, and if we do that and continue to grow. I'm not going to say we're going to win a national championship, but we're going to have a chance. It's just like this year, we had a chance. Very interesting comment. Not trying to take a dig at Alabama whatsoever, but I saw an interesting article yesterday that says, what if Auburn would have played Alabama's schedule this year?
Yeah, or Clemson's.
And if that would have been the case, we probably still would have had the one loss to LSU, even though we would have played at home, because Alabama played at home. But we'd have had the one loss. But after that, then you're talking about, do you keep Auburn out with one loss, only losing to the number one team in the nation by 3?
Yeah, probably wouldn't.
But you can't. But
maybe.
Again, that's if and nuts and candy and nuts. But you got to give your hats off to Georgia, even though I thought we should have won the ball game at the end. Florida. That was the closest this year for our crowd to what Florida was to us.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a game changer.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the off-the-field moves that have happened since the Iron Bowl. You're watching Track 'em Tigers.
She's ready. Extreme Power Sports' very own Polaris RZR Skylifter XP 1000. Trinity exhaust, Power Commander, 6-inch portals, RZR 3 to 5-inch lift, MSA 20-inch wheels wrapped with 35-inch BKTs, deluxe audio roof, LED light bar, Mud Park ready. We are ready to finance you on this Skylifter right now. Come check out all our off-road machines today at Extreme Power Sports.
And welcome back in. And Coach, I know Auburn fans are over the moon at this win, and you know, from an impact standpoint, now since the championship, the conference championships last weekend, we now know that Alabama loss cost them a spot probably in the playoff. That's got to be a boost for Auburn fans, and better be a boost for the program to keep your in-state rival out of the playoffs for the first time ever.
Well, I mean, it would have come down the wire between Alabama and Oklahoma. Alabama would have only had one loss.
Yeah.
What would have hurt them was the quality wins.
Yeah.
They would have had one quality win. That would have been against Auburn.
Right.
And then, personally, I think they would have been in if I was voting. But if they'd have beat Auburn. But it's hard to keep Oklahoma out because they won the conference championship. Yeah. I'm old school.
But Alabama's done it before.
Right, and that, you know, Alabama talks about Alabama, you know, they should have been in this, that, whatever. You know, I just believe that you need to win your conference, or at least play in your conference championship, to have a chance.
Yeah.
But you know, that's hearsay. That's
if Alabama
going.
had won that game, I would, and I had an opportunity to sit on that committee, I would have put them in.
I would have too,
Oklahoma.
because I mean,
It's a good football team.
they, you know, their offense is electric.
Oh.
And you know, not only got the full good wide receiver Najee. People talk about, you know, Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He made a couple of mistakes, but it was because he got pressured.
Yeah.
And
making his third start.
So, but you know, the thing that Alabama folks are not really pleased with is their defense. You know, I'm just telling you, if you're a running football team, and that's what you do best, you are not going to beat Alabama. You are not going to sit there and beat a Nick Saban team that can put 7 and roll a safety down in the box. You're not going to do it. But if you've seen Clemson last year, LSU this year, Auburn some this year, if your quarterback can throw the ball downfield and get some passes completed, they become very vulnerable. And they've always been that way. It's because the fact it's not that they're not good on defense. It's just that's what offenses are coming to nowadays. Nick Saban knew this a long time ago. He knew that he had to change, and he wanted to try to go to a wide open offense because he knows that sitting there trying to hold a good team to 21 points, he wasn't going to do that anymore. So my hat's off to him to make it a change.
Oh, yeah.
But they say, but you know, a lot of times when you do that it softens your defense. I don't think it softens it. Alabama had some key injuries this year, especially to the linebacker Mosley at the beginning of the season. But you know, their secondary. You know, Jake, I looked at the draft board today, and out of 32 teams, Alabama had 6 that's going to be drafted in the first round, projected. 3 on defense and 3 on offense. You know, Auburn has 1. Yeah. So, you know, it just comes down to the situation. There's talent there, and folks, but I'm just telling you, it's going to come a point in time because everybody's getting better. LSU is there. You got Florida coming on. You've already had Georgia and Alabama. Tennessee's only a couple of years from being there.
They're not paying Jimbo Fisher to finish 4th in the
No, they're
SEC
not.
West.
Lane Kiffin coming to Ole Miss. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, I know, but it's going to come down to it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world, and everybody's going to have a chance on any given Saturday.
This is the golden era of coaching in the SEC, in my opinion, top to bottom. And we've had some great ones, but, I mean, these guys are good.
Not only that, is the fan bases and the alumni they're putting the money into them programs because they want to do that. Yeah. They want their team to be elite. and ain't but one gonna come out.
That's right. All right, so let's look ahead. Malzahn's been preaching this for, give him credit, for a month and a half. Hey, we want to get to 10 wins. We want to get to 10 wins. He's got a chance to get to 10 wins. They're going to play P.J. Fleck in Minnesota, which I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a fun matchup. Minnesota, I've enjoyed following them this year. P.J. Fleck's a great football coach, a little strange, but people buy into him.
Great motivator.
Yeah.
That's the thing that concerns you a little bit, is because they're going to be motivated to play.
Oh,
He's going to have
absolutely.
them. But you know what? After that first 5 minutes,
That go away.
that goes away. And then it just becomes football. And so that's what we got to hope. They've got a very outstanding quarterback. They play very good on defense, got 2 good wide receivers outside. It's going to be a tremendous task for us. And, if we go down there and play the capable ball that we play in, and like we can play, I like our chances.
Yeah. I was looking down at their schedule, and the rub on Minnesota all year had been they hadn't played anybody, and they hadn't played anybody, and they struggled against some teams that they shouldn't have struggled against. But, they kept putting it together week after week after week. They get that big win at Penn State, lost a close one against Iowa. This is going to be a good matchup. This is a team that's gotten better every week. This is not an easy out.
Yeah, they have. Early in the season, they was just barely winning.
Yeah.
And then they got the rolling, and like I said, when the Penn State kind of gave them that confidence to get over the top. Like I said, it's just a 10-2 team. It's going to be a very fun one. I like when the SEC plays, the Big Ten, and just the situation of it's classic to me, and I hope all our teams in the Southeastern Conference do well, and I hope we can come out 9-0.
Well, most of them do well.
Well, I'm gonna say all of them.
All right. You're gonna take the high road. All right. Big news during the off season. Well, I guess you could call it the off season, between the end of the regular season and bowl season. What'd you think of Chad Morris coming over as offensive coordinator?
Didn't surprise me, because I know the closeness that him and Gus have with each other. I just don't know to what entail,
$1 million question.
And Gus said that he would never give the offense back, and I personally don't want him to. But what I think that Chad can do, the thing about Chad is he is basically close friends with Gus. He's about the same age as Gus.
That was what I was going to bring up next. First time he's had a coordinator that's almost a peer.
And but I think the big thing, whether Coach Morris calls the plays or not, they'll figure that out. But he's bringing to him what he brings to, I think, what Auburn needs is to elevate the passing game more. Mm-hmm. He's also known as a top-notch quarterback coach. That's something I think that Bo could use to make him better. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about it. Knowing Coach Morris, this might be a one-year deal, might be a 2-year deal. You don't ever know. But I think the experience and wisdom that he can bring in is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's going to. My concern is the play calling. Gus has never been good at turning over the play calling, and is he going to do that? There's been some rub this year that a lot of people seem to think that his offense has gotten too simple. Of course, it didn't look that way in the last game. Maybe Morris comes in, throws in a couple of wrinkles here and there. People forget. It's easy to dismiss Chad Morris. He had a terrible tenure at Arkansas, but people forget what kind of offensive coordinator he was at Clemson.
He turned that program around.
Yeah.
Before he got there, Dabo was kind of on the hot seat, and then he knew he had to make a change, and with Coach Malzahn's backing, he told Dabo that you need to hire this guy. If you don't, you're going to regret it. And I don't think Coach Dabo Swinney regrets that a bit, because he kind of turned that program around, developed numerous quarterbacks that was good. Deshaun Watson was the last one, Taj Boyd, Chad Kelly, that later transferred and went to Ole Miss. He developed all 3 of those guys. He went to SMU, had a tremendous career, and kind of turned that program around. He got to Arkansas, and he didn't have no Jimmys and Joes. And I don't care how good of coach you are, if you don't have the athletes, you're not going to win.
I think Arkansas may be the toughest job in Division I. when you sit in SEC West, you sit in West Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, and you play Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, LSU, the two Mississippi schools every year. You're not on even footing with any of them.
Not right now. In time, I think they'll get there. But if they keep changing coaches every 2 to 3 years, it's just going to be like Tennessee was.
Right. And changing philosophies.
Yeah,
They're
because right now, what Coach Morris wanted and tried to recruit, he had to play with Bielema's players before that, and they was basically a smash mouth type thing.
Yeah.
He didn't have the personnel.
Yeah.
Now, Coach Morris has got the athletes. He had 2 great recruiting years. Now you got Sam Pittman coming in, and he's a lot like the other one, as he wants to ground and pound. It's going to take him 2 or 3 years to get his personnel in there. So change ain't always best.
No. I want to talk more about some of these changes when we come back. You're watching Track 'em Tigers.
Razor XP has earned its place as the world's best-selling performance side-by-side. Now, the off-road's most successful Predator looks even hungrier. For 2019, Razor XPs are cut more aggressively. The chiseled muscular style, premium digital instruments, and wicked LED accents all hint at the heart of the animal within. Choose a Ride Command edition with off-road worthy touchscreen that puts total control at your fingertips. Or grab a Dynamics edition and discover the terrain-dominating power of smart suspension. Extreme performance has never looked so good. Build your XP at PolarisRazor.com.
And welcome back in. Coach, I would be remiss if I forgot to thank our sponsor, Extreme Power Sports and Jason Dyer. Boy, they've been really good to us over the last couple of years. It's Christmas time. If you're still looking for something last minute, go over there and see our friends. Jason, them reopened better than ever. And just really want to thank you for your sponsorship this year, Jason.
Thank you very much. And Jason, I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas.
All right, moving on. Let's get back in. We talked before the break about some of these changes. You talked about Sam Pittman at Arkansas. That was not a good intro. That was not a good. But he didn't win the press conference at all. But when I saw the press, I was like, I can't believe they just hired this guy. He did not win the press conference. But then, as I went back and read about him, players loved him.
Well, I think the next day he atoned for himself. It's hard when it's the first time he's been a head coach.
Yeah.
And when you're facing the media and all this and going on, and I can understand. But from what I understand, he's a player's coach, and the players love him. He's hard-nosed. I think Arkansas was maybe trying to get the next Ed Orgeron. That's the flavor of the month, So, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's going to be tough. I know the Missouri hire. Eli used to work at Auburn as a graduate assistant.
Chiswick's staff.
There, but he worked real closely with Coach Malzahn. I've followed his career. He's done exceptionally well.
That's a big jump.
Well,
1 year at App State, and then.
Don't you think his wife and kids were pretty happy going from $750,000 at Appalachian State to now making plus $4 million?
I think the kid's gonna have a good Christmas.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right, what's your take on Lane Kiffin? It's going to be entertaining.
No doubt about that.
Ole Miss is in the news again.
It's going to go one of 2 ways.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a home run, or it's going to be total disaster. Now, Kiffin, I'm not trying to get into politics here. Kiffin's a lot like Trump. He can't stay off that Twitter.
Yeah.
And he can't just let things just run itself, and don't always be in the middle of controversy. But that's who Lane is.
He loves to poke.
And he's already poked at Alabama. He's already poked at Mississippi State. He's gonna poke at everybody for it. Now, besides all that, Ole Miss is getting a great football coach. Offensive minded. Lane Kiffin is very. If you remember when Saban started to make this change, when he knew he had to start trying to outscore people, because the the point total was just it's going up. Who do you go hire?
Yep.
And he did a tremendous job with Blake Sims, did a tremendous job with Coker. I mean, it's going to take him some time to get his athletes in there. But like I said, it's never going to be a dull moment.
Yeah, you know, I'm happy for the Ole Miss people. I'm not happy for Auburn. I know they're not happy in Tuscaloosa or Baton Rouge. I mean, you need an easy out on some of these weekends. We're running out of outs in the SEC West.
Very much. I mean, it's just like I said, right now Arkansas is kind of down, but everybody else is either trying to get there or trying to get there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough.
All right, so we've talked about signing day. What we've learned with this early signing period over the last couple of years is signing day comes and goes, the early period, and then that's when all the assistant coaches start coming and going. Do you anticipate any changes at Auburn?
I don't, but then again, I'm not behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know most of those guys are pretty loyal, and then they're going to stay through recruiting. But like you said, after Wednesday, you could see a couple of changes. Just not at Auburn. You could see them different places, whether it be Alabama, LSU. I doubt anybody from LSU would go. But getting back to Chad and Coach Malzahn a little bit, the dream scenario is how Steve Emsfinger and Joe Brady at LSU worked this out.
That's amazing.
And
I mean,
first of all, you had to have.
Emsfinger checked his ego at the
door. He had to check it, and I know Steve very well. And but he knew that in the best interest of LSU, that they couldn't keep winning ball games 14, 21 points, and that was it. They had to open it up. And to bring Brady in, I'm gonna give credit to Coach Emsfinger. Now he called most of the plays, but Brady developed bringing it from New Orleans Saints, their passing tree and their package, and they did a tremendous job. I hope that's what Coach Morris can do for Auburn. And
you think that's what the thinking is by Gus? Let's put some wrinkles in.
Sure.
Change it up. I mean, I'm sure everybody's going to try to duplicate that now.
Yeah, because everybody kind of knows what Gus has got. I thought Gus did a good job this year expanding his passing tree. We probably threw the ball over the middle this year more than we ever have. Yeah. And that just goes back to confidence, and it's just a situation where the days of you winning 14-7, they're not going to be here anymore, not for a while. And
you talked about you talked about bringing in Morris. I'm sure they're looking at the effect he can have on Nix, kind of like Brady did with Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow was 200 to 1 to win the Heisman Trophy in August.
Wow.
I mean, he had a serviceable year last year, but nobody said this guy's going to be something special. So it just goes to show you that's coaching.
No doubt about that, and putting a guy in a system that he can thrive at. They had this weekend. They was playing LSU schedule, and the LSU Auburn game came back on. Really forgot how close we were to winning that thing. But him breaking out of the pocket, out of containment, and picking up a first down when we had him backed up inside the 10, and then they went on down and scored, and he scored on a quarterback draw when they went empty in the backfield. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Saw the game against them in Alabama. Oh, he was throwing dimes. Anytime somebody can complete 78% of your passes,
it's insane.
Hey, you can't even do that against air sometimes. Yeah. And for him to do that and to scramble out of pressure, he's deserving of the Heisman Trophy. There's no question.
There's a reason it was the biggest margin.
He
was left off 5% of the ballots. I just would love to meet the 5% that didn't have them in their top 3.
Well, they didn't watch college football.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, before we close, let's talk about the bowl game a little bit. Big opportunity for Auburn. What you're a coach. How important is the bowl game?
Well,
some people say, it's not that important. Others say it's real important.
It's important for your off season. Auburn got the big win last year against Purdue, and it just made the off season better.
Does it make those January and February mornings better?
Exactly. Because January and February and March, I wouldn't be a college football player. during them 3 months. The other months would be fine, but them 3 months are grueling. It's important. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but it makes your off season go on better. It gives you momentum going into the season, feeling good about yourself. So I mean, it's one of those situations where you can reach one of your goals after we had to reestablish our goals. So from that standpoint, I think it's very important. But from the other standpoint, it's not going to be a life or death situation either way for anybody.
Main thing is you get those extra practice days.
That's the thing that's the key to the whole thing. You know, Auburn is going to spend all of this week and then most of next week up until Christmas, and they're going to basically put the game plan in, but they're going to mostly work their young people. That's like an extra spring training. So now when it comes to spring training, you kind of know, especially on the offensive line, because we're losing everybody except the center, you have a kind of an idea where a starting point is. So these practices are big because you can't get enough reps during the season because your ones and twos are always getting the reps. So your marginal twos and your threes, they're scout team. So they get a chance to show what they can do. So from that standpoint, to me, that is the biggest thing, is the 15 extra days that you get.
Yep. Coach, been a pleasure.
Enjoyed it, Jay.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Auburn takes on Minnesota January 1st at the Outback Bowl, 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining us this season, and we'll see you next year.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.